So what do we mean about the alternative technologies? What are some of these alternative methods of construction? But before we talk about the alternative, we would want to talk about the conventional. The conventional method that we have been using mostly on slabs or on walling is one whereby when we are doing the walling, we use the normal masonry stones, and for the slabs, we will have reinforcement done, and then concrete is poured on the reinforcement to create a unified solid slab. So the conventional method of construction is one, walling is done using masonry stones. Number two, the slab is done using what we call the reinforced concrete that have been adopted, which we'll be talking about. For instance, when we are talking about walling, we'll be talking about the brick. We will also be talking about interlocking blocks. We will also be talking about the concrete panels. We will also be talking about the EPS slab flooring system and many other technologies that have been adopted to be able to help. What are some of the reasons why people are going for these alternative methods? One of them, as I said, is because of the escalating cost of reinforcement that has affected. Number two, the availability of materials such as masonry. Number three, the availability of materials to manufacture these alternative technologies. In use, especially in Kenya, for some years now, though it has not really picked up so well, a reason of which we'll be able to discuss as we move on. But for today, we want to investigate how this technology is different from the conventional stone walling that is used widely in Kenya. The name interlocking block comes from the fact that these special stones, I would say the blocks, have grooves that interlock between each other. And these grooves are the ones that create that rigidity, they create that firmness once the blocks are laid together on each other. It achieves its economy because of the fact that you use very little or no cement mortar to join the blocks. Normally, the blocks would be made either of stabilized soil, or they can be made of lightweight concrete. To be able to produce a very robust or strong block, you will need a higher cement content. The one thing that I would also want to mention about this particular block is the fact that some of these blocks, like this one you can see, is also hollow from inside. This helps so much for a few reasons. One, it reduces the overall weight of the building. Number two, that hollow also reduces the material that would be required to prepare this block. And thirdly, the hollow from inside is also good for insulation, so that the room remains cool when it is hot and does not get so cold during the cold seasons. The major advantage of these blocks is the overall cost of preparing the wall. This is because besides production of the blocks, we will not have cement mortar. And number two, the process of laying the blocks together is usually faster. Why? It's because the blocks themselves, by design, you are able to prepare your wall quickly by laying the blocks together. In fact, the grooves are specially prepared to allow for uniformity of the wall, besides ensuring that the wall is plumb and well aligned, horizontally and vertically. The major disadvantage of this block or this technology is, one, the general perception that we have on this technology, because normally it creates an impression of a low-cost building, and that has been the major reason why the blocks have not really gained a lot of momentum in terms of acceptability into the industry. The second thing is that the blocks, to be able to give you a proper appeal, would require a kind of finish that sometimes is not incorporated, making the wall to look incomplete. Thirdly, as I mentioned, some of the blocks, if the content of the cement is less, they begin to disintegrate from the edges, and so making the house look bad. Yet the cost of repair of that kind of a wall would be quite an amount, because the way the blocks have been laid together makes it hard for you to remove one block and replace with another. That makes it very hard. But nevertheless, there are, as I said, that in the rural areas, it has gained an acceptability due to its low cost. The precast wall panels are made of lightweight concrete, and they are made into small sections that have some holes inside them to ensure that the panels remain to be light during transportation, installation, and even the overall weight of the structure. The panels themselves, as I've said, being made of lightweight concrete, the material that makes the concrete comes from the ordinary cement, lightweight sand, and lightweight ballast that is mixed together in a special ratio to give us the final product that is also compressed. Besides being compressed, it is also embedded with reinforcement bars that are pulled to give an initial high strength to the overall product. So what I'm saying is that the precast wall panels, they have a significant strength in themselves to be able to resist the loads. As you can also see, that the panels are built with grooves, and they are joined together using what we call tongue and groove method. One thing that I would also want to say about this panel is the fact that the method of installation does not require a high skilled labor or a specialized labor for that case. The installation can be done very fast. That also ensures that the overall time that is taken in doing the construction, the time has been saved. These holes ensure that not so much of the material is used during the production of the panels. Number two, these holes give a significant insulation against the varying temperatures, and so making the panels being efficient in terms of resisting or ensuring that the panels are able to give you an adequate or a suitable environment during the hot and cold seasons. The holes can allow you to pass the pipes for plumbing, pipes for electrical conduits, and so it makes the panel to be flexible in terms of the overall construction. The beam and block technology is also another technology that is gaining a lot of momentum in construction today, especially in Kenya. The name beam and block comes from the fact that the technology is done using what we call a precast block and a precast beam that are brought to site, and that they are joined together to form a slab. So this technology is normally used as an alternative flooring system from the conventional, which is reinforcement with concrete that is poured on the reinforcement to form the solid slab. One thing I want to mention about this technology is the fact that the materials, they are usually prepared out of site, and the main structural component is the beam. The beam would come either as a T-beam, what we have here is a T-beam, or a flat beam. Beams are laid, and then the blocks are put in between those beams to form what we call a beam and a block. The beam and block, and hence that's where the name is derived. And after that, you'll require a topping to finish the slab. This topping can either be done using mortar, it could also be done using concrete, and the concrete will be reinforced either with BRC fabric mesh or with another product that we call the fiber mesh. This helps to prevent cracking in the topping of the slab. Other advantages of the same, it enables you to do the project fast. First, it reduces the amount of formwork that is required. You'd require very little formwork, especially only formwork required is on the beams, the main beams of the house, but the slab will require no formwork at all. Secondly, the construction is rather very fast, so that ensures you to be able to do your building at a faster rate than the conventional. You require very little or no reinforcement on the slab, and because of the escalating prices of reinforcement, then it would achieve a degree of economy. The blocks are hollow, which reduces the overall weight of the slab and also ensuring that there is economy. Besides, they reduce the amount of material that goes into it. Therefore, the cost of purchasing the blocks and the beam also goes down. Nevertheless, the hollow also helps in insulation and also reducing on noise, because they also trap in the noise between the voids. Before you install this beam and block technology, it will be very important for you to get the input from a specialist, either a structural engineer who is a consultant or a producer of the manufacturer of the same, where they have specialists who would give you specifications for your house. Not all house panels or houses would use the same format of this technology. So kindly get a specialist before you install not only this beam and block, but any of the alternative technology, and including the conventional method, to be able to get your house or get your building firm and secure. Did you know that precast wall panels can also be used for boundary walls? When it comes to the boundary walls, the system is done a bit different, as you can see. In this case, for the boundary wall, we have the normal precast wall panels that are connected to specially prepared concrete columns. The two would be manufactured together to be able to allow proper interconnection of the two. The name precast means they have been prepared out of the site and they are brought and fixed on site. So both the panel and the columns are usually precast. The panels are laid in a horizontal position, so the interconnection is horizontal. But the columns have grooves to allow the panels to fit in from both sides. These columns also have reinforcement bars that are pre-stressed to ensure that the columns have a significant amount of strength. The precast wall panels as a technology for boundary walls would be done in such a manner that first, the foundation of the panels are done using the ordinary foundation stones. Above the ground level is where the panels are erected. The precast wall panels are strong enough to resist any kind of intrusion. Besides, they also give you an element of permanent and temporary in terms of use. What do I mean about permanent and temporary? The permanent is because the panels can remain here for long. The cost of maintenance is relatively low, but can also be temporary, because if you would want to remove them and relocate them, there will be ease of removing with minimal damage, and therefore gives you flexibility of use. Thank you for tuning in. Kindly subscribe if you have not subscribed, and also like and share widely to your friends. And in case you have a comment, a question or a suggestion, please share with us on the comment section or reach out to us via the email address shared on the screen. Thank you.